The Indian players are always at the core of the IPL auction because you need 7 of those in a side. The big ones have already been retained. The Virat Kohlis, Rohit Sharmas, MS Dhonis, they're all already gone out of the auction. But still there's so many left, and you can sense that they'll set the auction abuzz because they will form the big part of their franchise teams. So I've started with 12 and I'm going to come down with 5. And the reason I've done that is I'd like you to know which way I'm thinking, so that when you get down to thinking yourself, you might say, right, maybe this is one way of going. So I've looked at the 12 big names that I think would be a big part of this year's auction. The batsmen pick themselves. I've looked at KL Rahul, I've looked at Ajinkya Rahane, Dinesh Karthik, I've looked at Shikhar Dhawan, I've looked at Manish Pandey and at Kedar Jadhav. These are the 6, I believe, among the batsmen that teams will go for. There are many others, but these are people on the fringes of the national side, and I believe they can all be limited overs match winners, T20 match winners in their own sense. So I've shortlisted 6 batsmen. Now the bowlers, increasingly we are seeing in the IPL that the bowlers command a big prize. Yuzvendra Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav. They've won so many limited overs matches for India in recent times. Chahal has been a big part of RCB. I thought he'd be retained. Then there's Kuldeep Yadav as well. He's winning matches, so I'll be surprised if there isn't a big push for the 2 of them. Then there's Mohammad Shami, fast bowler, moves the ball around, bowls a mean Yorker, good bouncer, not quite at his peak in limited overs cricket, but I think Mohammad Shami. Then Ravichandran Ashwin and Washington Sundar, 2 off spinners. I won't be surprised if Washington Sundar looks up to Ashwin and says, that's the kind of player I want to become. So those 2 as well. I like Jaydev Unadkat as well. So Jaydev Unadkat is starting to come of age. These are my 12 then, the 12 players that I think will be big at the auction. And now I've come down to the 5 that I think you must follow. So let's go around. Let's look at the final 5 then. Number 1 on my list, KL Rahul. T20 international strike rate of 150. At this level in T20, at just 120 balls, he can keep wickets like he's done for RCB. I was very surprised that he wasn't retained, but sometimes you look at the balance with the payments. If some players win more expensive, maybe they wait with another player. I will be very surprised if KL Rahul is not in the top 2 list, in the top 2 of RCB's list to use that RTM card. So I won't be surprised if KL Rahul goes there. He's my number 1 pick. Now, while we're on RCB, someone who's been a match winner for India, wrist spinners are absolutely top of the charts in T20 cricket. As I said, I thought Yuzvendra Chahal would also be retained by RCB, but who knows? Maybe he thought his asking price was a little high. Maybe RCB thought, right, why commit to such a high price? Let's go in the auction and see what he goes for. I think he'll be a big part of the auction, but I also believe that Yuzvendra Chahal will be the other RTM card for RCB. And once they do that, with Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers already there, Rahul the wicket-keeper, top order batsman, and Chahal a strike bowler, they'll be free to look at other people, look at other bowlers too. So those are my first 2 picks among the capped Indian players. Ajinkya Rahane. You might say, why in this galaxy are you looking at someone who sort of scored at about 115, 120? Because I think Ajinkya Rahane is ready to take the step up in T20 cricket as well. He's had a fantastic ODI season. He scored 50 after 50. He scored 100. He's been player of the series. I also believe there might be a franchise out there looking for captaincy material. Now, Rajasthan Royals, who have first choice on Ajinkya Rahane, have already named Steve Smith as their retained player, maybe looking to Steve Smith as captain. But I won't be surprised if another franchise out there saying, here's someone who's really serious captaincy material. But of course that'll happen if Rajasthan Royals don't use their right to match card for Ajinkya Rahane. But I do believe Rahane is ready to command a big price at the IPL. Kuldeep Yadav, left arm wrist spinner, the last person to do that successfully in the IPL. His career is tapering off in the Big Bash as well is Brad Hogg. Not always used consistently by KKR, but a genuine match winner for India. And I was very, very impressed the other day in Indore when his 3 overs had gone for 45 and Rohit Sharma went back to him and said, right, sorry, you've got to bowl the 4th over. We don't have a spare bowler. And he came and he bowled beautifully in his last over. So Kuldeep Yadav, if I was looking for a shopping list, I'd be looking at Kuldeep Yadav, but I'd also be aware of the fact that Kolkata Knight Riders can use him with their right to match card. Now that'll be interesting out there because they already have Sunil Narayan. They're playing home matches on a bouncy track, but the wrist spinner wouldn't mind playing on a bouncy track. Yet another candidate for a right to match. Kuldeep Yadav is number 4 on that list. On number 5 on my list is somebody who's really come up in the last couple of years. Started playing for India very early, was probably not ready then, was an under 19 star, but he's filled up since then. He's bowling the new ball, he's bowling quiet overs at the top, he's coming back, he's a very good death overs bowler now, and I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Jasprit Bumrah now have company among the death overs with Jaydev Unadkat. So he's my number 5. Now you might turn around and say, what about Ravichandran Ashwin? What about all those others that you talked about earlier? I think they'll be big as well, but these are my top 5.